Hello everybody, this is Jerry Mateo Tanada. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Kiive Audio Tube KC-1 compressor. This is a emulation of the TubeTech CL1B, and as you can kind of tell, there is some liberties in the color scheme, but the controls are essentially the same, but we do have some cool features that are very much in Kiive Audio fashion. Looking at the top bar, we have the classic controls from Kiive Audio, the preset menu, the input and output gain, which will give us 24 dBs of plus and minus gain. This is a great way of gain staging your plugin. Let's say you have a very quiet signal that needs to be gained up in order to get proper gain reduction. You can very easily increase the input gain while simultaneously reducing the output gain. This is a pre-release version, so keep in mind that usually there's going to be a little link button that will link both of these controls together. We have oversampling, which goes from off times 2, 4, 8, and times 16. And then we have the THD control. Now, this is really interesting because this is total harmonic distortion. This is emulating the tube style distortion from the tube compressor using an opto circuit, obviously. This is tube style saturation. And I've actually noticed that when you bring this all the way down, the signal seems to sound a little bit brighter and the compressor becomes almost cleaner, and you can actually hear the compression a lot easier. Bringing it up to 0 tends to give you a little bit of that tube style saturation that you get in the real CL1B, and it seems to kind of gel the compression. This is a optical style compressor, so no matter how fast you set the attack and release control, it is usually a little bit grabby. And I find that the THD, adding a little bit more, will actually mask any of that unwanted gooiness, even though I really do like the gooiness that it has. The mix knob is going to give you a wet-dry blend, and then we have our left-right link control. Now, this is cool because you actually have a mid-side or mono stereo or left-right compressor. So if you have this off, you can have two completely different settings from your left or right side or mid and side. You control that by the switch right here. Turning it back on will automatically snap both parameters back except for the threshold in the mono mode. Just moving it will fix it. Now for the basic controls, we have the channel selector, the mono stereo and mid side mode, and then we have gain, which is going to be our output gain ratio from 2:1 all the way to 10:1. The attack and release. Now this is going to go from fast to slow. This isn't going to give you a timing, but keep in mind that this is a optical compressor. This is going to be significantly slower than a FET compressor and slower than a VCA. Your threshold knob is right here. This is going to be where you dial in how much compression you're going to be juicing into here. Keep in mind that if you have a super loud source, this still will compress if you have threshold set to off, but normally you shouldn't have that issue. Under this, we have the attack and release selector. Now, manual mode is what I like. This is going to be completely manual settings. So whatever you change and set it up as is going to be the way that this compressor reacts. While fixed/manual will be a blend of the two. I forget if it's either the attack or the release is fixed while the other is manual, but this is essentially going to be a blend between the settings. While fixed is going to be an automatic attack and release. Really, really good. Actually, if you don't really know how to use compression, try this out first. It's very, very good and very powerful sounding. Next, we have our sidechain filter. Now, this is going to be reducing or cutting off anything under this frequency from being detected by the compressor, but it will not actually be removed. So let's say we have a lot of low end triggering the compression. We can filter down, let's say under 140 hertz. It still is going through the signal source, but it will no longer trigger the compression, so you won't get any pumping and artifacts. You have an A/B section, you have a redo and undo, and then you can resize the plugin. And that's it. This is a very, very easy plugin to use. So let's go ahead and let's actually grab a fresh instance. Take a listen to this vocal. So I have the Tube KC-1 in bypass, and listen to these vocals here. There's going to be just some EQ, lots of resonance right there. Another EQ using an Avalon style channel strip, some de-essing, and then the Tube KC. So this is nothing. It was a beautiful day. Cool. Now, as you can hear, this is a cover of Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty. Everything here is actually virtual instruments except for the vocals. The guitars, the bass, the drums, everything is just something I'm whipping up together for a different video. But I really liked how the Tube KC-1 worked on this. Now you can hear the vocal. Let's listen to it in solo and just listen to how dynamic it is and how it almost sounds like it's stair-stepping or it's sloping in and out. It's kind of a little distracting.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down.
Right there.
I had the radio on and I was driving. Trees flew by. Me and Del was singing.
Cool. Now, what we're going to do is check out a couple of settings. So first, let's see what this sounds like if we have this at its slowest and then its fastest. So we'll be in fully manual. So a ratio about 3:1. Boom. And then I'm going to hit Control to bring this down in really exact increments. 3:1. And here we go.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on.
Now let's do some makeup gain.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on.
Let's bypass it.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on.
Now, even at its slowest, it's grabbing, right? It's gooey, so it's kind of imparting some very silky, smooth, opto-style compression.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down.
What happens if we reduce the THD?
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down.
You can almost hear the pumping a little more. It was almost invisible with the THD at nominal, but brought down, it's almost like the coloration that you get from this unit goes away, so you hear just compression. Let's bring this up.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
And you notice you also get a lot of distortion, but as you turn the THD up and down, you get a balance between the EQ curve, kind of. It almost sounds like there's less harmonic content, so it's cleaner. And as it rises up, it gets kind of warmer. So I like around 4 or 3, actually. So that sounds pretty cool, but again, it's way too transparent. Let's try the fastest attack and release.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
Now that is really good, but let's turn off THD.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
All the way up.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
Now it sounds good there, but it's a little too compressed. Let's see what happens if we use the fixed mode, because this is going to be our automatic attack and release, and let's just hear the difference.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
Yeah, as you can hear from that, it really is a nice blend. It's actually sounds fantastic, but I like really knowing how to use compressors. So what I think I'm going to do is go for a relatively fast release and a medium fast attack. Let's see if we can get a similar sound that might be a little bit more grabby. We're going to keep the THD at about 4.7, and here we go.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down.
Let's bypass this just because I want to hear the overall peak volume of it uncompressed.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down.
And I think it'll be easier to show you if I actually bring up the fader. Okay, so this is uncompressed.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
So I know it gets louder, so if we aim for about a little bit over -18, we should have a really good RMS. So let's just see how this sounds.
It was a beautiful day. The sun beat down. I had the radio on and I was driving.
So much color is imparted in this, right? Let's just take this out of solo. Let's copy these settings to the other vocal channels, and then we will bypass the compression and then bring it in the mix.
It was a beautiful day, the sun beat down, I had the radio on, and I was driving. Trees flew by, me and Del was singing Little Runaway, and I was flying.
Cool, so right away I'm hearing that I'm definitely getting a more coherent vocal, but it is a little bit quiet still. And that's because we actually have louder parts. So what I want to do is actually increase the threshold and increase the output gain.
It was a beautiful day, the sun beat down.
Yeah, that sounds great. So once again, we will copy these settings. Let's bypass them.
It was a beautiful day, the sun beat down.
And that's that initial peak volume.
It was a beautiful day, the sun beat down, I had the radio on, and I was driving. Trees flew by, me and Del was singing Little Runaway, and I was flying. Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me.
Cool. Now, I really like that. I think that sounds great. And there are little things you can do to polish it off, but this is a really good starting off point. And what I would do from here on out is maybe do a little bit of automation just to tuck things in and out, especially on more busy parts, because at this point, it sounds great. I think it sounds really good. It's coherent. It has a lot of color. It sounds thicker. But if I do more to it, I feel like the whole thing will just sound like a squashed brick. CL1Bs are kind of famous for being able to do ridiculous amounts of gain reduction with no artifacts whatsoever. And I think this is doing a really, really good approximation. Is it as good as the other emulations that are out right now? To be honest, I think that this is a really good contender. It's definitely better than a couple of the ones that I know of. And it's really, really, really close and right on par with the ones that I use with my Apollo and stuff like that. I really like the low CPU. I love the fact that we can do oversampling, because I'm not even oversampling. So imagine what happens if I engage oversampling to get a much cleaner signal. Kiive Audio, what can I say? They just kind of keep knocking it out of the park. And this is one that I had no clue about until like 5 days before it was released. And I am extremely excited to just check it out. The second I threw it into a session, I fell in love with it. It sounds great. I recommend going on the website, grabbing a demo, and checking it out for yourself. If you don't like it, it's not a big deal, but I really do think you will love it. If you use it in a similar way that I'm showing you right now, where you use it to add a lot of color as well as giving very transparent compression, you can then do something like a faster FET compressor or something like that, or a VCA compressor to really blend things in. I actually really like pairing this with the Kiive Audio N-Fuse, and I don't really use it as the N-Fuse, but I love adding some saturation, and then I will bypass everything and just utilize the SSL style bus compressor, because it's a really good colorful bus compressor and it has a fast, snappy attack. So you can make this have a very snappy, aggressive tone and then smooth things out with the KC-1. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. This is Jerry Mateo with I will see you guys next time. Bye.